Alright, hi there, and welcome to Player Toons, a segment where we talk about anime and tunes and things of those particular natures. Today, I'd like to issue an apology for, not being online for a while. Been dealing with a lot of stuff, and both me and my partner's schedules have to sync up, so, haven't been able to do this in a bit. But we're here now, and we're going to regale you. Today, I have with me my guest host, who I'm hoping will introduce himself again today.
Hello, once again, it is Duck McGavin.
Alright, gonna get right to it. So, I was thinking this earlier when I saw the episode, and I don't really know how to put it, but Boruto's eye seems to be capable of something other than a Byakugan. So, what do you think it's capable of?
Aside from randomly throwing out lightning, it seems like exactly a Byakugan that can just see special chakra as well.
Yeah, but I noticed that it was a little bit different than a Byakugan, which can see through any solid object. His
Yeah.
allows him to see negative chakra and stuff. I don't even know if the Byakugan will allow you to see chakra.
It allows you to see the chakra flow or whatever through someone's body.
Yeah, but he can actually see negative chakra,
Yeah, that is special to his eye.
which I think is some sort of genetic mutation of the Byakugan.
Could be.
But that, in and of itself, I was thinking about it for a while, but I couldn't really come up with anything concrete other than the fact that it was a genetic mutation. Because the Byakugan can allow you to see through solid objects, it can allow you to see far away.
Well, right at the beginning, we saw someone who looked like they had something similar to Naruto, just on the opposite side of them.
Oh, pray tell.
So, you don't remember from the first episode?
Um, yeah, what's his name
It
again?
was
Kawaki?
Boruto up against someone who we haven't seen yet, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. He's had a mohawk, but his name was Kawaki,
Yeah,
I believe.
don't remember.
But his abilities seem to be wholly different from Boruto, who at that particular time could control his eye.
Yeah, well, that was obviously in the future. It just seems like more or less the same power, just slightly inverted.
He channels his through
Although
his
we only
hands.
saw it for all of 5 seconds, so no real way of knowing.
I, don't, I really don't get that part because that guy they show a 7 year time skip at the beginning of the actual anime. Then they show the kids and their abilities are unpolished.
Well, they wanted to show where we're going. It was like, here's where we're going, and here's where we are. Hopefully, what I'm thinking they might be doing is they're going to be doing a lot of time skipping, so that we're not going to just because we've already seen this arc of being a kid, going through the tuning exam, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
Hopefully, the tuning exams won't be an entire arc like it was in the original Naruto.
yeah, I hope so too. Because
Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the tuning exams. It's one of my favorite arcs within Naruto. At the same time, I've seen it already. I'd like to see something new. They've been doing a good job of showing new things, actually showing school. Because we saw school for all of like 2 episodes in Naruto, and then immediately they got Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura got assigned to Kakashi.
who did a lot of field work.
Yeah. So they just like right out the gate, they completely skipped school. I do enjoy the fact that they're actually doing school and they have this nice little arc. And god dang it, Boruto is just like his pop. Pop is like just with the long-winded speeches. Whoa! With the power of friendship, we will prevail.
Oh my god.
I don't dislike it, and I get a little hyped every time Naruto or Boruto does one of these speeches, but god dang it. It's like you can hear it coming from a mile away.
Yeah, they never really stopped with that trope. Gets on my nerves too. I may not be able to do this alone, but if I have my friends, I'm capable of anything.
Although I do like Mitsuki. He's an interesting character overall. I thought he was going to definitely be more Sasuke, but he's kind of different.
Yeah,
He doesn't look down on Boruto. He almost seems to look up to Boruto, at least
yeah.
emotionally.
Well, the guy's
Because
smart.
Mitsuki's been trained and raised from what seems to be in a test tube to be a killing machine who just follows orders, similar to the way that I'm so bad. The white dude who paints pretty pictures that turn into real things.
What's his name again?
Sai?
Yeah, Sai.
What group was he a part of with Hanzo?
Yeah, he was with
Hondo?
Donzo
Donzo.
in the
Sorry, I've been
Foundation
playing a lot of Overwatch.
Black Ops.
Yeah, that. But yeah, seems very similar to Sai.
Huh. I didn't even know Sai was a part of Ambu Black Ops until like later on in the series when they actually explained it.
No, they didn't really give any hints to it.
Well, I mean, they could have said something. The dude was with Foundation. The Foundation is tied up with the Ambu Black Ops.
Yeah. Well, the Anbu are very secretive. Hush, hush.
Y'all wear masks and have cool tattoos.
Although I would like to see eventually who's behind Mitsuki and who is pulling the strings overall. Because I don't think Mitsuki is going to end up being a bad guy, but I do think there's going to be a conflict between what whoever's who in charge of him wants and what actually happens. Considering that he was supposed to, you did watch episode 14, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on. I just want to make sure we're on par. But because he was supposed to kill what's her face, but then didn't. Was supposed to basically kill her, and it seemed like kill her and then take her body back to the village hidden in the sound or whatever. Instead, she's alive, and Sai, who empathized with her, took her off to have a discussion. Who knows how that's going to be? But at least he said he wouldn't harm her, so take him on his word.
Yeah, they are ninja. Ninja aren't exactly the most honest lot.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it's a family show, but it's a show that promotes honesty, I guess, at least among the quote unquote good people.
If anything, Boruto and his dad are the rarities in the ninja world because they like to fight people straight up, and ninjas are supposed to strike you in the back.
Yeah. Well, Boruto is sneaky once he gets into the fight.
I've pointed this out before, but he's a little bit smarter than his predecessor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually plans things out. He can do it on the fly. Whereas Naruto, his battle smarts were almost unparalleled when he got going.
Well, consider that Naruto grew up basically being hated and not really having anything to live up to. So he just kind of goofed off and didn't really care. Boruto, on the other hand, wants to prove that he's nothing like his father. And I'm assuming has heard stories about his father being basically an idiot and useless and blah, blah, blah. So Boruto wants to be as far away as he can, minus giving the long-winded speeches.
Well, I mean, some things never change. In trying to prove that he's not like his father, he's kind of just proving he's like him.
Yeah.
They both got this in-your-face kind of full frontal attitude about everything. But that aside, I was just wondering, and this is kind of the segue into the next question. His eye. This is basically an integral part of the story where he starts to discover what he can do with that eye. Do you think in the next two arcs he's going to gain control of it?
I think within the next one he'll gain some control over it. Oh, excuse me.
I don't know how many episodes they're going to do to this particular arc in the Naruto series, but just to stretch the story out, I would do that too. I would have him gain a minimal amount of control over it, where he can't always summon it on command, but he can at least recognize what it does.
Well, like the best allegory I can think of is like with Sasuke. At first, he wasn't super in control of his Sharingan, and then eventually got to the point where he was very in control of it, and then he got to be able to manipulate it to do whatever he wanted it to do, whatever it was supposed to do. and then through means of like Orochi or whatever, it got boosted because of reasons.
Yeah, the amount of power ups that Naruto and Sasuke got toward the end, ridiculous. They went from barely being able to, fight on a Kage level to being able to take out all 5 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just a one arc.
Well, there at the very end during the Ninja War, honestly, it got just way too ridiculous for me.
Yeah, that Sage of the Six
It got to the
Paths
point where
showing
they
up.
were just making. It seemed like they were just making things up. Oh, now we can do this. Oh, now we can do that. Oh, now we can do this. Oh, now we can do that. No basis, just pulling
yeah,
magic out the butt.
that was ridiculous because they showed the Sage of the Six Paths in some weird dreamland, and all of a sudden they got a power boost from it. I was like, what? They explained it like them inheriting their forefathers' power from the first Sage of the Six Paths and his younger brother.
Also, I guess not speaking of the Sage, but I don't know if you noticed, but Neo, whatever that monkey cat thing was, the way they were showing it really looked a lot like when the Ninetales attacked the Hidden Leaf.
Oh yeah, the new.
I like how they're doing little nods to the old series here and there.
Yeah, they made it a threat that Naruto couldn't touch because of the immense chakra he has on his own. But that alone would feed the creature and make him into a bomb.
Yeah, he went Super Saiyan for all of half a second.
Yeah, he went into his Nine-Tail form, and then once he realized he couldn't do anything, he just stood there asking side questions.
Honestly, I don't think he realized shit. It was Kakashi was just like, "Hey, stop that! Go do other stuff." And he was like, "Yes, sir." Okay. In the end, Naruto is still not. He's smarter, but in the end, he realized he's not the smartest. He doesn't know everything, so he should listen to those who do know more than he does.
Yeah, because when he was younger, he too much like listening to anybody when he believed he was right about something. But now, as an adult, he realizes that he's not always right.
Yeah.
Just stubbornly continuing to push his viewpoints on people, it may change them, but in the long run, it may not be the best thing for them. But, that's just my viewpoint on how he matured.
Yeah.
Since they did a whole time skip between him being like 17, 18 years old. Now he's, probably in his 30s now.
Probably somewhere around there.
He's
I do like his mastery of the clone jutsu. You never know what Naruto you're looking at if it's the real one, and chances are it's not.
Yeah, that's kind of where his sneakiness comes into play because he does it at a habit now.
Yeah.
And
it's constantly got shadow clones everywhere.
Yeah, and Boruto, like I said, in trying to prove that he's not like his father, proves that he's exactly like him because he does the same darn thing.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, at least from if I'm getting the ages kind of right, I hope I am. Boruto's mastery overall, I mean, granted, different circumstances, different chakra, blah, 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 blah. His mastery compared to Naruto's at the time, because when Naruto first used the shadow clone, he made all of them against what's-his-face. He was trying to steal the scroll or something? I can't remember.
Yeah, the Forbidden Scroll. I forgot the guy's name, but he ended up returning as a villain later on.
Yeah.
But he beat the crap out of him with like 100 clones.
Yep. But I think Boruto just in general has limited chakra compared to his dad at the same age.
Which, in my opinion, isn't the worst thing in the world. I mean, if you got limited resources in that area, you learn to be smart about it.
Yeah. Honestly,
like everybody else, mostly.
You'd think that Boruto would jump on the chance to have, if Naruto had any time, to see if Naruto could train him and even, have him maybe even train, like send him to train with the frogs, toads, whatever they are. Ribbit,
Yeah, I
ribbit.
don't think that will work, and the reason I don't think it'll work is because they explain in the beginning of the series, but through Sakura, green eyed girl, pink hair.
Mm-hmm.
They explain through her that you cannot increase the amount of chakra that you have, but you can intensify and refine it through training.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that nature chakra doesn't come from you; it comes from nature. And I'm not even
Yeah,
talking about for him to
I mean,
increase his chakra. I'm just talking about generally going to train with the toads so that they can, help him out. Just give him
oh,
more
if
intensive
that's what you
training.
mean, then that would
I
be
don't
a
know if he's
lot better
quite
for him.
ready to, deal with nature chakra or even get anywhere close to sage mode.
Yeah, because you got
But
to
it would make
refine your
sense for
chakra to a
Naruto to,
certain point.
put him in contact with the other toads, maybe sign a contract, keep it in the family, and blah 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 blah.
I think he'll get there soon enough.
I
But
hope
right
so.
now, I think Naruto knows that his chakra isn't refined enough to handle something like that. Look at how hard he had to train just to be able to summon a tadpole.
Eh?
He had to use the nine tail chakra to summon Gamabunta. That was his first summon, and he kept having to use the nine tail chakra for a long time because his own chakra couldn't stand up to the load.
Well, Naruto overall doesn't, at least at the time, he's not as good at the up or not upkeep. What's what I'm looking for? He's not good at learning things as quickly as it seems like Boruto is. While Boruto's maybe limited by his own mastery of his chakra, he seems to be more capable when it comes to learning things, learning new things. Heck, he's freaking
Yeah,
summoned Neo on accident. Nero? Whatever the fuck it's called.
it's called Nue. It's
Close enough.
sort of a baboon with a snake tail in
It's also
Japanese
got a tiger
mythology.
body.
Yeah, that too. Anyway, moving on now.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is a bit of a stretch, but I'd like your opinion on this. What kind of
Mm-hmm.
character development you think is going to happen in the next two arcs? When they have their true villain arc.
Well, I don't know about. Honestly, I don't know where they're going to go with the next arc. They kind of just left it really open ended.
Yeah, they really did that in. I, I was hoping to bounce some ideas off you here because
Because,
I don't know where to
with
go with
what's her
this.
face, she was from her father who was acting in vengeance for the Foundation, which is pretty much dead. So that's just, unless they're going to do another Foundation thing, which I don't think they will, they're just leaving it open to maybe starting with whatever 7 years from now. Heck, the next, because I think this is supposed to be a season end, right? 14 episodes? It
Yeah,
felt very end to me.
yeah. For the first 14 episodes, it's the first arc.
Yeah.
So for the second arc, I really couldn't guess at what they're gonna do, but I think they're gonna introduce the first true villain of the series.
Honestly, I think they're going to do a time skip. Wouldn't
Really?
surprise me. I hope so.
Oh, you don't have any clues as to why they would do that?
Skip all that. They've already done the school stuff. They're trying to, it seems like they're trying to explore things that haven't already been explored as much. So they did all the school stuff,
Um,
and next would be the tuning stuff. So if they just skip that right ever automatically and just have them be tunings, well, it would be nice to watch. I don't want to watch it again. I just don't. I
it's
will
pretty
watch it if they
intense.
do it, but I'd much rather see where they
I mean,
do something new.
the first tuning exams were pretty intense, but they were. Most of it was a lot of action that was, I don't know, just a little bit lacking. I was up to that point. I've been used to the high production values in Dragon Ball Z, which kept getting higher as the series progressed.
High
I
production
mean, they
values.
went
You're
from,
funny.
I mean, we went from Super Saiyan to Super Saiyan 2 through Gohan, and then we went from Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan 3 being shown.
Yeah,
And
but that
then,
doesn't mean that's a good animation.
really, you don't think the animation got any better?
It definitely did over time when they got more money and it kept going, yes. But overall, I'd say Naruto, especially, well, the way that Naruto handled their animation was completely different from Dragon Ball, in that Naruto mostly used they properly managed their budget. Anytime there was talking or whatever, there was limited movement and everything else. But the second that there was action, they had a completely different team working on it and made it look fluid and honestly pretty darn good. Same way they do with Boruto, honestly, with a little bit higher quality because time forward and whatnot. But like
Yeah,
during the tuning exams, especially like when you had the Rock Lee fight, there was some really good animation. Or during the what's the guy with the Byakugan eyes?
Deji.
Yeah, his fight with Naruto. It was with Naruto, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
him and Hinata. He almost killed her.
Yeah. But those fights were pretty good. And then it was Gaara against Naruto, right? The way that
Carter.
the way that Gaara manipulated that sand animation was really good.
Yeah, I liked it when he fought Rock Lee though at first, and then he faced Naruto in the end.
But
He
a lot of
didn't
what
use.
Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z did was not lazy, but like anytime there was fighting, it was just very quick frames of you see them punching and basically blurry so they don't have to actually animate it. They never really slowed it down, which made it look cool and it definitely saved them on animation. But as far as animation quality, Dragon Ball Z was nowhere near what Naruto was, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, true enough. It was
That
like
being
Kale
said,
Kenshin.
Dragon Ball Z, on top of being, well, relatively budget there during the end, just is an older anime in general.
Yeah.
And
I
as it
mean,
becomes easier to animate and use computers and blah blah blah, anime are able to be churned out a lot more, which is why you see a lot of shitty anime as of late because they can just keep pumping them and pumping, and even if don't do very well, at least they'll sell something, and they just keep pumping them and pumping them out.
yeah, because a lot of these
Like,
animes
what's
fall
the
into the
studio
same
that does
bucket.
Sword Art Online? I can't remember what they are, but they don't know how to stop making anime.
What's the name again?
A1, I think
Uh,
it is that does it. Is it A1? I know A1 also does a lot of stuff. It might be them. I'll do a quick check. Move us on while I do it.
anyway, um, I guess we can move on to the next segment. All right, Boku no Hero Academia, or My Hero Academia for English.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. What do you think of the first true villain arc?
What villain was there?
Stain, the hero killer.
There wasn't really an arc. He just kind of appeared, did stuff, and then went away. That wasn't
He's
really an
gonna
arc.
show up later as a main villain that our main protagonist is gonna somehow take out.
Yeah, maybe later, but as of right now, he was just a tease. Just like, hey, this guy exists. Pay attention to him. He'll probably be important later. Never see him again. At least not
Yeah,
until next season.
I believe that they explained at some point that he had killed a certain amount of heroes.
Uh,
He pretty much paralyzed.
70 something,
He
I think he killed. Or is he injured 70 something? There's 70 something somewhere.
it seemed more like he injured 70 something because if he killed that many people, you know.
Maybe he killed 18. I think it was 18 he killed. Oh, I'm bad with numbers. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Anyway, he pretty much paralyzed Roadrunner's brother, who had been working as a hero for years. Had lots of
Mm-hmm.
experience. Didn't seem to matter. So, the dude's definitely dangerous. He said at one point that he would only allow somebody like All Might to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But All Might would never really kill him. He'd just beat him half to death and bring him into the authorities. Kind of like he did Nomu. He burned his regeneration out. But, I think at some point our little Deku is going to have to face him. and how he's going to do it is going to be integral to how the story moves forward.
It's not that I don't think he's gonna face him, but I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if we're really gonna see him at all in this next arc because it sounds like he's gonna be going with what was that guy's name? Who's he gonna be interning with?
Gran Torino.
Yeah, that one. I love that movie.
Like that old man. He's a lot like All Might. He's crafty, plays dumb,
Have
but
we seen
at the
Gran
same
Torino
time he's
before?
very wise. No, this is the first time they introduced him in the story, but I like his style.
How can you like something you've never seen? So confused.
No, I didn't say I didn't like. I just like the way he does things in the story.
Yeah.
But you know,
If he can make All Might shake in his boots, should be interesting.
yeah, that's definitely something to consider because he bounces around like a pinball, can't get a beat on him, and when you try to predict him, he just shrugs it off.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's like that when he's old, I wonder how the heck did he end up not only being a teacher for a year out there? Did he just not get along with the staff?
I'm assuming there was probably some sort of incident.
He
Either he
definitely
pushed something
didn't.
too far or something like that. His way of teaching wasn't kosher or whatever.
Yeah. It makes me wonder about something else too. How these
Mm-hmm.
heroes end up getting paid? I mean, they work for agencies. What do their paychecks look like? I mean, that old man lives in a dilapidated old, shoebox.
Advertisements, sponsorships, the same way a lot of athletes get extra money aside from their general sport.
I mean, I don't know
I
where.
mean, think about it. In a world like this, imagine if All Might advertised for Pepsi. They would pay him some metric ton of money for the guy who saves the world on the reg.
Yeah, because I mean, we've seen, in the anime where they have him on TV spots and stuff, always end with the same thing. I am here,
Mm-hmm.
as if that was supposed to make sense somehow. It's just,
It probably makes more sense than the Japanese dialect.
I wonder if they paid him for every TV spot, you know, why'd you always wear the same suit every day?
Like they made a reference before. I think it said something along the lines. I'm paraphrasing, but rival is the same as friend, which I'm assuming within their written language, that rival and friend do seem similar in one way or another. Like there's a lot of
Yeah, the way they
Japanese
write it.
Japanese humor or references when it comes to the language because a lot of their language does look very similar with one way or another depending on how you phrase it or say it.
I mean, the reason I think about the money scaling in that anime is because the number two hero, Endeavor, and
Mm-hmm.
his son Shoto, Icy Hot, they live like kings. He basically he's rich.
Yeah.
And he's just the number two. So, oh my number one, how's he living? If he's living in an apartment, what's going on here?
Different investments. All Might is a hero to be a hero. Endeavor is a hero to be number one and make money and be on top of everything.
Yeah, we're just gonna call that small penis syndrome. At least that's what I call it when a guy has everything to prove.
Well, penis size isn't everything.
It's just in reference to their determination to always be on top of everything and everyone. Anyway, moving on. Do you think Deku, our main protagonist here, is going to gain some kind of mastery of one for all in this arc? Seems
Hopefully,
like,
he showed some promise. Although I did find it funny that even after all that nonsense in that fight, he didn't get one possible sponsor or person willing to take him as an intern. No
Um,
offers whatsoever.
did you not hear what they said about him after the fight?
What do you mean?
Why would a hero want somebody who has injured their whole body just to win?
Yeah. At the same time, with actual training, maybe they're just too lazy to think about training. They don't really see potential.
'Cause, in that last fight he had against Icy Hot, my God, he probably would have won that through a minor difference in strategy, but it came straight at him at the end, and the dude blew him away, and he was the only one injured after that. The most he managed to do was tear some of his uniform off. That would have highly pissed me off.
We also got to remember Deku was partially trying to help him. On top of that, again, I'm gonna keep saying it. Dude has to worry about not murdering who's in front of him.
I
Because
mean,
if when he actually hit him, if he all out hit him, there would just be a smear.
yeah, he turned him into street pizza, but that aside, like I said, a minor difference in strategy of how he employs these smashes could, help him win any fight. But he doesn't even have good control over one for all, because all he does is use to reinforce different parts of his body. He explained that in the latest episode. That all he does is turn the switch on and off in different parts of his body, and it ends up breaking because he puts too much into it.
He
But
did
if
have
he,
one good hit where he didn't, break anything
yeah,
major.
he had to keep
That's why I think in
imagining.
this next arc we're gonna have All Might's teacher, Gran Torino or whatever. I'm assuming that's why he was shaken because probably Gran Torino helped All Might be able to control One for All as well.
Uh, True enough, but that's gonna be on my next question. But right now, let's focus on him gaining control. He seemed to figure out what he needed to do in order to gain control of One for All. Instead of using it to reinforce parts of his body for a short period of time and overloading it and breaking his bones and stuff, he seems to think that constantly running the power throughout his whole body and keeping it that way is what's going to help him the most, which I think makes sense.
Oh, we'll see.
I mean, if you think about a faucet being turned on, if you put your finger under that faucet and the water sprays everywhere, then is the effectiveness of it actually landing in the sink is going to be reduced as opposed to when you take that finger away and let it just flow down the drain. But if you put your finger under it and try to limit how much it gets into the sink, it's going to spray everywhere else, get all over the curtains, on the counter, hit the sink. I mean, hit the stove. All kinds of stuff. That's just a simple analogy to just help you visualize that. But if you
Yeah, I
just
gotcha.
run that power throughout your body and keep it that way, you might have trouble moving at first, but as you get used to it, boom, you got all for one control. So, do you think that's a pretty much a sound theory, or
Honestly, I'm not so sure. It doesn't seem like he puts everything he has into just one finger. He just limits his power to trying to channel it into a finger or a arm or a hand because no matter what, when he uses it, it's going to wreck him. At least for now.
but he pretty much admitted that he's only got about 5% of it under control. But that 5% could be deadly even at that level,
Yeah.
even though his body's not that strong compared to what All Might had to go through when he was his age. Because Gran Torino said it himself that All Might's one redeeming feature was his body. He was strong,
Yeah.
so he was able to use One for All normally from the start. Deku, on the other hand, cannot do that. Maybe it's his mental barriers, maybe he's too nice, or I don't know what it is, but he cannot use One for All properly.
That's gonna take
And
time.
And like the nurse said, he can't just keep breaking his body in order to learn, because she can't keep healing that stuff. She had to pick fragments of bones out of his joints the last fight he had, and now his right hand is crooked. So
Well, we'll see.
at some point, he's gonna have to learn how to channel it throughout his whole body and keep it that way. Because somebody like Stain is not gonna wait for him to get full control. He's just gonna dice him up.
Well, I don't see him. He might fight him at the end of the arc, but I think we're going to see a lot of Deku training in this next arc, like a
Yeah,
training
hopefully.
montage.
Yeah,
Like, do you
hopefully.
remember the arc of Dragon Ball when Goku was with Roshi and Krillin? Did you
Yeah,
watch Dragon Ball?
when he was with Roshi on that little planet.
You're thinking of King Kai.
Oh
Roshi
yeah.
is
Oh,
turtle,
Roshi.
turtle,
Yeah,
turtle
when
dude.
he was with Roshi and he was training with him on his island.
Yeah. And that lasted for like an entire arc right before they went to the next arc, which was a tournament arc. But
True
I think
enough.
that
It was him
they
and
can
Krillin, wasn't
they
it?
can make an entire season thing or arc out of basically Deku training and getting better.
Which I wouldn't mind, just as long as he gains the control he needs.
Yeah.
Because this is getting ridiculous at this point. It's not even fun to watch him just barely struggle to lose.
Well, he's gotten a lot better, and I don't think he was really planning on winning.
I mean, I
Honestly, he
like
didn't even
this.
seem disappointed in winning.
Yeah,
Icy Hot seemed more shook after that fight than Deku did.
yeah, Deku was unconscious.
Yeah. I mean, after he became conscious again.
But I guess he did help him in the end, which is good.
Yeah.
It's good on his character development. But like I said, I would like to see him gain some kind of master, because in real life, nobody's going to give you enough time to learn how to control your abilities. They're just going to beat you down and
Well,
hope you don't gain any control.
we shall see.
But I guess we can just move on to my final question.
Mm-hmm.
This was explained in the latest episode, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. I know at least two holders of One for All that Gran Torino trained. It was All Might and his predecessor. How
Mm-hmm.
many do you think he's seen? How many holders of All for One do you think he's seen?
Well, it depends on how old he is. Considering, I'm assuming it might have been a friend of the holder before. Um, there's All Might, there's a person before All Might, and the person before that was probably a friend of Gran Torino. So I'm assuming Gran Torino is probably somewhere in the old as all hell range.
He's got to be in his 80s.
I'm
He's still
imagining
moving.
we either have little old dude that you shouldn't underestimate, or really big old dude. Nothing in the middle, probably.
Yeah, because here's the thing. He told Deku that One for All isn't as special as he thought. He was just treating it as a special move, which is why it was breaking his body every time. But if he gains control over it, in order to do that, he's going to have to think along the lines of his classmates who have been using theirs all their life, 15 years.
Hmm.
He Deku pretty much figured it out right then that in order to gain control, I have to use it as a part of me instead of just a special move. Because that's how they use their quirks. They've been using them all their life, and they don't think about it. But
Well,
he
Deku
has to
hasn't even
consciously
had
control
like
them.
this arc, well, not arc, but this story has basically been like what, a whole semester of the
Hmm.
academy. So like these two arcs that we've had been one semester. So considering that, I'd say we're probably like what, 5 months into Deku's story, 5 6 months.
Yeah, true enough. But
So comparatively to the years that they've had living with their own quirks, I'd give Deku
there
a
have
little
been
slack.
A little, just a little, because I mean, in my life alone, I've had to do things that other people have been doing all their life. I've had to learn it in months rather than years. You probably have had some times in your life where you've had to learn things in a short amount of time that other people have always known.
Yes, but I liken this to like all of a sudden if you had to learn nuclear physics, assuming that you don't
Yeah.
automatically already know nuclear physics. Do you?
No, I probably know few of the basics, but it will take me years.
But yeah, if someone came to you and said, "All right, before the world ends, you have to save it. You just need to learn nuclear physics within a year." All of it. That's what I assume is the massive pressure that is being put on Deku.
But we have to
There's a
think of
big
it as
difference
a
between
hurdle.
saying, "Hey, can you use these skills of like being a general electrician to being a actual engineer, and you can use some of what you've learned to become an engineer, something similar in the field, as opposed to something completely out of your depth."
But he's already on the path of a hero, so it's
Yeah.
either this or there's really no other choice. He's a holder of all for one right now, so he has to be pretty much a hero. Otherwise, the whole thing is wasted on.
Honestly, if he
So
wasn't as smart as he is, I think he would have a harder time.
yeah, this the one handicap they gave him to balance out all the weaknesses he has is that got a piercing intelligence that allows him to further his control over it. But like I said, he has to think of it like a hurdle he has to jump rather than just a handicap that he has to overcome.
Yeah.
Because if I thought like, man, I'm never gonna learn this, oh, God, how am I supposed to do this in a few weeks or a few months when everybody else has had their whole lives to learn? I couldn't think like that. I had to like, you know what? I'm going at this the wrong way. I need to go at it this way, and I'll learn it a lot quicker. But I gotta learn it now. And that's the mindset he has to be in if he's ever going to gain control of All For One. Because everybody else, it seems like, has had no problem controlling it normally from the beginning. Maybe it's because of their attitude, their mental inclinations or whatever. But they didn't have the same kind of trouble he did. And I doubt any of them ever broke their bodies to use
When did they ever say that? As far as I know, All Might never said that it was easy for him.
it. No, he said it was easy for him, but his teacher said that he could use it normally from the very beginning. That means he didn't break
When
his
did he
body.
say that? I must have missed that.
In episode 14.
His
So
teacher said that. Was that
yeah,
after the
af
credits?
no, it wasn't after the credits. It was during the show. He said that All Might was able to use it normally from the very beginning. So all I did was give
Gran
him
Torino did.
practical training. Yeah. So all I did was give
When
him
did Gran
practical
Torino
training.
appear? I didn't see that.
He was at the start of the episode. Deku came into his house and started bouncing around trying to test him.
Was there an episode 14? Because I've only seen episode 13 of.
The episode 14 is out with a new opening and everything.
I missed that episode. That would explain why I'm confused as all hell. Thank you very much.
Don't worry about it. You've been keeping up, so I'm not gonna hold it to you. Anyway, I think as a whole, Deku has to overcome this as a sort of trial. His lack of mastery is the biggest, you know, thing that's holding him back right now. Everybody else can use theirs perfectly. He has to get to a point where he can at least make it usable.
Mom will call you.
Hello? Fearless? Well, folks, we seem to be having some technical difficulty. Fearless seems to have fallen off the face of the earth, so we'll see exactly how long it takes for him to come back, and I can't word. So yeah, my name's
Oh,
Dr.
sorry about that.
Gavin,
Had to
and
step
I'm gonna
out the.
promote myself. So, Back
Oh, sorry
fearless.
about that. I had to step out for a second.
That's fine. I was pretending to
Anyway,
be entertaining.
anyway, we should probably wrap this up. It's gone on long enough, and I have things I have to do now. So, for Player Tunes, this has been Fearless Soul. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and PSN as Fearless Soul. Today I have my my guest with me, Duck McGavin. Hoping he'll plug himself right now.
Yo, Duck McGavin, apparently a ghost. DUCKMCGAVIN. You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Tomorrow I will be streaming episode whatever, not Gladiolus, the blonde one for Final Fantasy 15. So yeah, come see that. It'll be fun. I'm gonna do it with Cartier. Also, before we go, it was A1 that did SAO, and they did 10 different anime last year. They've done
Man.
they've done 4 this year and have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that have yet to be announced.
Yeah,
When
that's
they're going to
called
appear.
overworking your employees right there.
They just churn crap out. It's like, do you remember THQ?
Yeah, THQ, the company
Before,
that made that wrestling game on 64.
yeah, that THQ has made a lot of games, but after a while, they just started putting out a whole bunch of games all at once, and they were making money because all of them were selling, and they got to the point where eventually they stopped selling, and then they went under and blah blah blah. But point is, A1 just makes so many anime to the point where the quality kind of, I think, suffers.
No, true enough. They kind of fall into a rut after a while.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep,
This
yep.
has been Fearless Soul and Duck McGavin for Player 2. And we are here for you, your Player 2.
What up,
Signing
though?
out.